The following is a true story. I have a new book out called Negotiation Genius, and this is one of the opening stories in the book. It's a completely true story where the people are disguised. And in the book, I tell about a person named Chris. And Chris is a very nice man who works as the chief procurement officer of a major international corporation. Chris is also known throughout the organization as a fantastic negotiator. I've met many people throughout this corporation who tell me about the amazing things that Chris has done. But Chris is a fairly humble person who always has a simple version of the story where it was not all that complicated. Okay? And this is my favorite of all of these stories. This multinational corporation had a procurement team, a buying team, in Italy, and they had identified a small Italian firm that made a chemical product. And what this chemical could do is that you put the chemical into a mix of shampoo, and no human being using that shampoo will ever have dandruff. And the chemical is completely safe. So the multinational corporation wants to buy essentially all that this small company in Italy can make. And they reach agreement on just about everything, which includes about $18 million a year, and it includes the multinational buying all the chemical that the company can make. And the deal's falling apart over one issue. And the one issue is exclusivity. The multinational wants to be the only company that can buy the chemical, and the reason they want the exclusivity is to have a competitive advantage against other large corporations who, if they got a hold of the chemical, could put it into their shampoo, and the competitive advantage of no dandruff would be gone. The small Italian firm is just consistently emphasizing, it doesn't matter how long we sit here, we're never going to give you exclusivity. We want to do a deal with you. Okay? We don't have any discussions going on with your competitors, but we'll never give you exclusivity. And the deal's about to fall apart, and the procurement team for the multinational calls Chris. Chris is sitting across a big ocean near a big city in his office, and the message is, the shampoo deal is falling apart. Get on the next plane to Milan. Chris, being a very good corporate citizen, quickly packs a bag and heads to the airport, flies to Milan, arrives the next morning. A car is waiting for Chris, drives him for 80 miles to the plant facility, and he arrives, and there's an argument going on, and not surprisingly, the argument has to do with exclusivity. And one side saying, we have to have exclusivity, and the other side saying, we're never going to give you exclusivity. And after 10 minutes, after 10 minutes of Chris's arrival, there's a break called. Restroom break, coffee break. And Chris is walking down the hallway with the grandfatherly figure who owns the small company. And he pleasantly says to the owner of the Italian firm, would you mind telling me why you won't give us exclusivity, since we're willing to basically buy all you can make, and we're willing to pay you a price you're happy with? And the owner of the Italian firm said, I'm happy to tell you why. If I gave you exclusivity, my entire family would be mad at me. Why would they be mad at you? Well, I have a cousin who makes a locally made shampoo, and we sell him 50 liters a year. And 10 minutes later, there was an agreement for worldwide exclusivity, except for up to 100 liters a year for the cousin. Now, the procurement team, who had been in Italy for weeks, tells me about the amazing investigative work that Chris did to figure this out. Chris, who's a very nice, humble man, basically tells the story in the form of, I can't believe I flew across the ocean twice to simply ask, why won't you give us exclusivity? But what I want to highlight about this story in a serious way is that there were already successful professionals there who never asked the simplest question of why. The other side didn't even mind answering it. Okay? But you need to know what it is that you don't know about the other side. Ask that information and ask it in a way that increases their likelihood of giving you the answer.